The mystery no one explains. Australia shouldn't be rich. It's far from global financial centers. It doesn't manufacture iPhones. It doesn't dominate global banking. And its population is smaller than many single cities. Yet for decades, Australia has quietly stayed wealthy, stable, and resilient, even when global crises wiped out other economies. So here's the mystery. How did Australia get rich without playing the same game as everyone else? The answer isn't innovation hype. It isn't financial genius. And it definitely isn't luck. It's something far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Australia built an economic shield that most countries ignored, until it was too late. Setting the stage, a country built on dirt, not dreams. To understand Australia's wealth, we need to go back before tech, before globalization, before modern finance. Australia's early economy wasn't sophisticated. It wasn't industrial. It wasn't clever. It was physical. Coal, iron ore, gold, wool, land. While Europe and America focused on factories and finance, Australia leaned into something far less glamorous: raw materials. And that choice would shape everything that followed. At first, it looked like a weakness. Countries that rely on commodities usually struggle. They boom, then crash. They grow dependent. They fall behind. So why didn't Australia? The answer lies in timing, restraint, and one crucial decision most nations never make. Origins: the commodity foundation. Australia's resource wealth was discovered early but not exploited recklessly. Gold rushes in the 1800s created early capital. Wool exports built trade links. Coal powered regional industry. But unlike many resource-rich nations, Australia didn't let a single commodity dominate the entire state. Instead, it diversified within resources themselves: mining, agriculture, energy, metals. This created a commodity base, not a commodity trap. And then came the real turning point. The rise of China changed everything. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, something historic happened. China began industrializing at a speed the world had never seen. Cities, railways, factories, skyscrapers, and all of it needed one thing: raw materials, iron ore, coal, natural gas. Australia wasn't just prepared, it was perfectly positioned. While Western economies chased financial growth, Australia became China's physical supply chain. This wasn't just trade, it was dependency. China needed Australia's resources to grow, and Australia got something priceless in return: massive export revenue, strong currency demand, budget surpluses, stable employment. Australia didn't become rich by inventing the future. It became rich by fueling someone else's future. The unstoppable shield: why Australia didn't collapse. Then came the global financial crisis of 2008. Banks collapsed, housing markets imploded, entire economies froze. But Australia didn't. Why? Because while financial systems collapsed, people still needed steel, power, and food. Australia's wealth wasn't trapped in derivatives or debt. It was anchored in physical demand. This is the commodity shield. When finance fails, commodities don't disappear. When currencies weaken, resources still have value. When bubbles burst, steel still gets poured. Australia's economy was insulated not because it was smarter, but because it was real. The breaking point, the hidden cost. But no system is perfect. Australia's success created new vulnerabilities. Housing prices exploded. The economy became tied to China. Productivity outside resources slowed. And most importantly, Australia became dependent on high commodity prices. When prices fall, growth stalls. When China slows, Australia feels it instantly. The shield protects, but it also limits. This is where cracks begin to form. The fallout, a one-trick problem. As the world shifts toward decarbonization, supply chain reshoring, slower Chinese growth, Australia faces a hard question. What happens when the commodity supercycle ends? The country avoided financial collapse, but at the cost of economic diversification. Manufacturing shrank, innovation lagged, debt quietly grew in housing instead of industry. The shield worked, but it also delayed hard choices. Failed fixes. Why copying Australia doesn't work. Many countries now want to copy Australia's model, but they miss the point. Australia didn't win because it had resources. It won because it didn't over-leverage them, didn't over-financialize them, didn't abandon regulation, didn't let elites extract everything. Most resource nations fail because institutions collapse first. Australia's quiet strength wasn't dirt, it was discipline. Modern parallels. The pattern repeats today. The world is splitting again. Finance-heavy economies are fragile. Debt-dependent systems are cracking. Physical supply chains matter again. Energy, food, metals. Countries with real assets are gaining leverage. And once again, Australia sits in a familiar position, not flashy, not dominant, but essential. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. The real truth, why Australia got rich. Australia didn't beat the system. It avoided the trap. While others chased growth through complexity, Australia anchored itself in what the world cannot live without. No hype, no shortcuts, no illusions. Just leverage over reality. 3 clear takeaways. 1. Wealth built on reality lasts longer. Financial engineering collapses. Physical demand endures. 2. Resources are power. If institutions survive, commodities don't save countries. Governance does. 3. Stability beats speed. Australia grew slower, but fell less. Final warning. The shield is not invincible. Australia's model worked in a commodity-hungry world, but the future won't be identical. If the country mistakes protection for permanence, the shield that saved it could become a cage. Call to action. If you want more deep, uncomfortable stories about how real power actually works, not how it's sold, subscribe. Because the biggest forces shaping your future are rarely the ones everyone is talking about.